Hey guys, so today what I want to do is review with you how to do multiplying and dividing fractions in mixed numbers. So review, oh, that's a terrible W. Let's try that again, shall we? Review, multiplying, dividing, oh, I spelled again, here we go, dividing fractions. Won't let me make that F a little better. And we'll just call it that, and then mixed numbers will be part of it as well. So let's talk about, we're going to do two columns. So we're going to talk about multiplying, and then, let's see. We're going to talk about multiplying on the right side and dividing on the left. So multiplying. Fractions. And we're going to talk about the steps to do that. So number one, if you, let's include, let's say we have mixed numbers. So convert any mixed numbers to improper fractions. So it means the numerator is greater than the denominator. And you know what I like to do, and I'm just going to put it here. You need to try to simplify or look for common factors in any numerator and any denominator. So always got to be a top and a bottom, have to have a common factor. Now, I'm going to put a star next to this because you either do it after you converted everything to mixed numbers if necessary. You could either do it then, or you could wait till the answer, but my experience is that most people, once they get to the answer, they don't look, especially for stinky threes, okay? So that would be what I would suggest is in this order. And then you're going to multiply straight across. I'm having trouble spelling today. Multiply straight across, and then I'm going to put it in here. If you didn't do it in that second step, you got to do it here at the end. Simplify if possible. Now, the only time you have to change your answer to a mixed number is if you are talking about a real-world problem, a measurement of some sort, okay? So off to the right, let's do a couple practice problems, and the directions are just going to say, oh, sorry, I picked the wrong pen. Let's get rid of that. The directions are just going to say multiply. Or they could say simplify, right? That means do anything you can do mathematically until there's nothing left to do. So we're going to do one of each kind. So let's do a fraction times a fraction. So we have 3/10 times 15/21. So again, I'm going to look on any diagonal or within a fraction as well. I could have common factors. So what I notice is on the numerator on the left to the denominator on the bottom, they both share a 3 in common. So if I divide out the 3, that gives me 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 21 divided by 3 is 7. Now on the other diagonal, change the color, I notice that 10 and 5 have a 5 in common. So 10 divided by 5 is 2, 15 divided by 5 is 3. So then all I'm left to do is to multiply straight across. So I have a 1 times a 3, which is 3, over a 2 times a 7, which is a 14. And there's your answer. All right, let's do another one. We have 2 2/5 and we want to multiply it by 8 3/4. So again, I cannot multiply with mixed numbers. I have to change them to improper fractions. And just to remind you, we're going to multiply the denominator times the whole number, and then we're going to add the numerator to that. So 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. Oops, let's go back to black. Let's go back to black. And the denominator stays 5. And then on this guy, 8 times 4 is 32. 32 plus 3 is 35. Oh, that got erased. So that gives me 35 fourths. And again, I'm going to look for any factors that I can divide out. So top left to bottom right, I notice they have a 4 in common. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And we've got top right and bottom left, they both have a 5 in common. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 35 divided by 5 is 7. So when I multiply straight across, I have 3 times 7 is 21, over 1 times 1 is 1, and that gives me the answer of 21. Okay, so how do things differ if I am doing dividing fractions? So again, we will consider the fact that we could have mixed numbers. Dividing fractions. So step 1, we're going to convert any mixed number or any mixed numbers to improper fractions. So same thing. Now the problem is we really don't like to do division, so we are going to go ahead and do a prep step. Okay, so we're going to butt a step in that I didn't see with multiplying fractions. So I'm going to make him nice and bold. We'll do him in red. Now what you're going to do is keep the first fraction, because now we have two fractions, and then you're going to change division is going to become multiplication, and you're going to take the reciprocal of the second fraction. Now there are some people who like to kind of boil this down into simple phrases, and so they say keep, change, flip. So the change is changing the operation to multiplication, but I can't just change one thing, I have to change two things. So I change the operation, and what comes after it gets flipped. Okay, now we're just back to the rest. This is when I'm going to look for any common factors in any numerator denominator. I guess I should add this. So I'm going to say num and any denominator, so any denom. I didn't use the word before. This is what we call, and I'll go back and write it up at the top too. This is what we call, oops, made a mess. Reduce or simplify. Reduce or simplify. Okay? And then we're just going to continue the path. We're going to multiply straight across. And if you forgot something, catch it now. So we're going to simplify if possible. So I'm going to make it the same color as that third step. So the only thing that's different is that red step. We're going to keep the first fraction, change the division to multiplication, and take the reciprocal of the second fraction. So number 3, let's do a basic one. Let's have 12/18 divided by 9/21. So I don't have any mixed numbers, so I'm going to launch right into that, keep the first fraction, change division to multiplication, and take the reciprocal of the second fraction. So we have 12/18. We're going to change division to multiplication, and we're going to take the reciprocal of the second fraction. Now we're going to look for anything that we can simplify by, and I notice top left, bottom right, they have a 3 in common, so 12 divided by 3 is 4, 9 divided by 9 is 3. I keep making marks, I'm so sorry about that. And then on the other side, 21 and 18 have a stinky 3 in common. Yeah, he likes to hide out. So 21 divided by 3 is 7. And then 18 divided by 3 is 6. So the only thing I do is I look to see if I have anything more. And lo and behold, catch this. 4 and 6 are even. Now, any numerator with any denominator. So divide out a 2, and I have a 2 over 3. So then I multiply straight across. And I get 2 times 7 is 14, 3 times 3 is 9. And as far as I'm concerned, that answer is fantastic. Or, if you want to change it to a mixed number, 9 goes into 14 once, and 14 take away 9 is 5. So I get 1 and 5/9. Okay, one more, and then we're going to be done. We've got 6 and 2/3. So now we're going to do all the steps. We're going to divide it by 8 and 2/9. No, 8 and 2/4. I think that's right. 8 and 2/4. Nope, 8 and 2/9. Sorry, I couldn't read my own writing. All right, so job 1 is to convert. So I'm going to do 3 times 6 is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. So I get 20/3 divided by 9 times 8 is 72. 72 plus 2 is 74. So I get 74/9. Okay. Now I'm going to keep the first fraction. And I get 20/3. I'm going to change the operation to multiplication. And I'm going to take the reciprocal of the second fraction. So I get 9/74. Okay, so left, top, bottom, right. I notice they're both even, so I can divide a 2 out of each of those. 20 divided by 2 is 10, and 74 divided by 2 is 37. You can always do the math off to the side if you don't know that. Let's look on the other side. And top right, bottom left, they have a 3 in common. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, 9 divided by 3 is 3. And then we just multiply straight across. So again, we're looking here. I forgot to circle up over on this one. Boom, 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 boom. And we get 10 times 3 is 30 over 1 times 37 is 37. Nothing more to simplify. 37's prime, and you are done. And there you go, guys. See you later. Bye.